Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Cutting Through the Bullshit. I am your host, Dr. Stephanie Snyder, and I am a high-performance mentor. Through my unique blend of strategy, mindset, and intuition, I help men and women to cut through the BS in order to create the life and business they desire. So, last Thursday, I didn't sleep well. Not last Thursday, last Wednesday night, whatever it was. I was struggling to get myself out the door Thursday morning. By out the door, I mean like just up and ready to work out, because I knew I had a cycling workout and I just really didn't want to do it. I did not want to go out on my bike. There was a whole lot of resistance that was coming up. And so I hemmed and hawed and I laid in bed. I got up, I did do a little bit, I actually did my Bible study. And then it was activating to me, in that it made me start to think, and I started to pray for some clarity around my purpose, because there are moments where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, God, I'm just trying to figure it out as I go, right? Or could you give me some direction? Like, that would be really great. And so I started to pray about it and was immediately pulled to go for my bike ride, actually get on the bike and go. And I was like, ugh. So I begrudgingly got up, went on my bike ride, and just trying to be like, just being in the moment, enjoying it, because it had been a while since I've been out on my bike. And in the first couple of miles, I passed this mom who was running, and her daughter was riding her little bike next to her, and I had just encouraged her, and I was like, great job. And then I did my little loop, and I came back and I saw her again, and I just said, you're doing great, right? Like, have a great day. And it was in that moment that I felt the shift, where it was like, that's the thing. And I immediately reclaimed the purpose of encouragement, right? Part of my job here on this planet is to encourage others. Encourage others to do the difficult things. Encourage others to get out of their comfort zone and really go after what it is that they want in this life. And it does take a lot of encouragement there. And what also dawned on me while I was finishing this bike ride was I had not been giving myself enough credit. I handle a lot of things. I have a lot of things going on. I am managing a bunch of things, raising kids, being present, still working on myself. I have a great relationship with my husband. We are growing another business, and I really hadn't stopped to give myself credit for it. And so I finished that bike ride really just building myself up and encouraging myself, because it was the one thing that had been missing. And if I had been missing it and still kind of pushing through, then I knew for sure that other people were also missing in that encouragement. And then the downloads started happening. It was like one-liner, great idea, post idea. And I immediately hit like the God zone. And I love that space. The God zone is where you're just, it's like pure magic. The inspiration is just amazing. The words that come through are incredible. You just feel so alive in it. And I had been missing it. And so I was so proud of myself for pushing through that resistance, because I would probably have hung out in that resistant energy for the rest of the day, and I would have been agitated and annoyed. And instead I was so filled up and on fire for that day that it was actually an incredible day. And it just is a continuous reminder that yes, there are times in being an entrepreneur where it feels like you're doing things alone, and doesn't feel like you're actually getting where you think you should be going. But oftentimes we just have to stop and look at how far we've come. How far have we come in that, and celebrate that, right? Because if you are an entrepreneur, it's like, okay, we achieved this, what's next? We achieved this, what's next? We achieved this, what's next? And it can be difficult it can feel unnecessary to stop and celebrate yourself along the way, because you're like, well, I just got to get to the next thing. But then it becomes more about the progress than it does about the process. And the process is the thing. The process is the thing. The process of who you are becoming is the thing way more than the progress itself, than the achievement at the end of that. And so it was a very good reminder for me to just sit down and pat myself on the back and be like, look at how far you've come. Look at how great we're doing, and let's use that as momentum to keep going, right? Because when you are struggling with the momentum for yourself, it can be difficult when you're like, well, I still have this far to go, right? It's like you decided that you're going to go for a hike and you're standing at the bottom of the mountain going, how the heck am I supposed to get up there? And instead you're like, okay, you know what, let's just do one step at a time. And then we're halfway up and we celebrate ourselves halfway up. It is, there's joy in the journey, as all the cliches, they come through, but if you allow them to actually sit with you, that is the power of it. And so, again, it was a great reminder to just, one, encourage myself, but also to celebrate myself for how far we've come this year. I mean, it is mid-June now, really end of June, and there has been quite a shift and change in the business, in the new business that we started. That's exciting, and the progress that's going to be coming through, that's also really exciting. And it's the doors that are opening. And also, side note, caveat here, we're going to go down a little bit of a rabbit trail. I did notice something, and I think this might be really helpful to other people as well. So one thing that I really focus on is knowing the power of your words, right? The things that you focus on are the things that you create more of. And I caught myself the other day. The girls were in the pool and they were fussing about something. And I said, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And, trying to solve whatever it is they were all mad at each other about. And I felt myself get convicted. And this is the word that I'm using recently because I was convicted about something last week as well. So I felt myself get convicted about this because that doesn't actually serve us. When you ask somebody what's wrong, they will invariably tell you all the things that are wrong. And then they're focusing on the things that are wrong. And so I said this to my oldest daughter yesterday. I said, I'm going to stop asking you what's wrong. And I'm going to start asking you what's good and what's right. Because then you're going to shift your perspective. You're going to start to look at those things instead of the things that are wrong. Because the truth is, you can always find something wrong. You can always find something right as well. But let's shift that perspective so that we're focused on the right things as opposed to focusing on the wrong things. And so I did catch myself in that. And it was just really interesting because it does feel awkward to ask somebody what's right instead of what's wrong, what's going on, like what can I help with, right? But it's what's right. Because the truth is, a lot of those wrong things, the things that are wrong, don't really matter that much. Yes, some of them do, but if you focus on them, then they become this bigger thing, and then it really feels like it matters, even though it could simply be somebody cut you off on work, on your drive to work kind of a thing, and that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of your life. You won't remember that person, right? This exact thing happened a couple weeks ago. I was going to a graduation party with my oldest daughter, and we were trying to find a parking spot, and this woman got pissed that I was coming through the parking lot in a big truck, and she started, her hands started flying in the driver's seat, like whatever it was, and I was like, I've got to go around you, like I don't know where you're trying to go, but I can't move right now, so I'm gonna need you to back up so that I can move, kind of a thing. And she was just so just nasty about it, and I just decided I was going to park farther away and have to walk, and it wasn't the end of the world. And she had passed us while we were walking, and I'm sure she gave me a nasty look, but I didn't really care. It wasn't a big deal. And so we went to the graduation party, got back in the truck, and my daughter said, oh, I can't believe that woman. I said, what woman? And she goes, the one that was so rude to you in the parking lot. And I said, oh, sweetheart, I've already forgotten. It was already gone. I wasn't going to let a total stranger ruin my day. That's silly. I'm never, ever going to see that person again. And if I do, I'm not going to remember that she was rude to me in a parking lot. Like, okay, I don't know what she was going through. I don't know what she was annoyed about. I just was a good target for it, it seemed to be. And so it's a shift in the perspective. What's going right? What's going right? Because there's plenty of those things. And when you shift that perspective, the things that you look at, when you change the things that you look at, the things you look at change. I love that quote. It's from I've heard my mentor say it, Melanie Ann Lair. I don't know if that's her original quote, but I love it. I think it's actually Jim Rohn. When you change the things you look at, the things that you look at change. And that is 100% true. If you walk through life being like, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong, you're going to find all the things that are wrong. But if you stop to think to yourself, what are the things that are going right? And it's a shift. And it's incredibly uncomfortable at first because it's not natural to you. Maybe. It is our natural state, but it may not be natural to your current personality. And I'm one of those people where I show up knowing that things are working out in my favor. And they do. And the opportunities come and it's beautiful. And they come when I surrender too. I noticed that this morning. I was feeling frustrated and annoyed about something, and I said, you know what, we're just gonna surrender this. How would I respond if it was all working out in my favor? And then it does. So I have plenty of proof of that. So I'm gonna sign off here. Not sure how much longer this storm's gonna go, but we're gonna hang out in it. So I'm sending you so much love. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And as always, be you, because the world needs more of you. Bye.